Welcome to a journey through time, back to an age when Amsterdam stood at the very center of the world, an era when this city of water and stone became a magnet for wealth, ideas, ambition, and art. The 1600s, known today as the Dutch Golden Age, transformed Amsterdam into the richest and most influential city on the planet. What we know of this world has long been preserved in engravings, paintings, and hand drawn sketches. Moments frozen by artists who once walked these streets, stood along these canals, and watched history unfold. Until now, those images have remained silent, distant, and still. But today, through the power of advanced artificial intelligence, we can begin to breathe life back into them, turning static drawings into vivid, realistic scenes that feel almost tangible. This is not just history remembered, this is history revived. So step with us into the 17th century and rediscover the city that helped shape the modern world. Our journey begins south of the city, along the calm and winding banks of the Amstel River. In a peaceful scene from around 1622, the river flows gently through a pastoral landscape. Families gather near the water's edge. Children play along the shore. Fishermen carefully tend their nets, and small boats drift quietly across the surface. The mood is calm, almost timeless, yet this tranquil river is far more than a scenic backdrop. It is the lifeline that gave birth to Amsterdam itself. Centuries earlier, a dam was constructed across this river, creating the settlement that would eventually grow into the city we know today. From that single act of engineering came a name, a marketplace, and eventually a global empire. The Amstel became Amsterdam's highway to the world. Goods from inland regions flowed down this river toward the city's ports, where they would be shipped onward to distant lands. Timber, grain, dairy, and raw materials all passed through these waters. In the distance, a church tower rises above the fields, marking Ouderkerk, a place where many wealthy Amsterdam merchants chose to be buried. Even in death, they wanted to remain close to the river that had carried their fortunes. But this peaceful landscape would not remain untouched for long. As Amsterdam's wealth and population exploded, these quiet riverbanks would give way to fortifications, warehouses, docks, and relentless urban expansion. From the river we moved to the city's edge, where Amsterdam prepared itself for danger. Here stand the imposing fortifications near the Haarlem Gate. Massive earthen ramparts and star-shaped bastions form a powerful defensive line, built not for beauty, but for survival. During the 17th century, the Dutch Republic was locked in the 80 Years' War, fighting for independence from Spanish rule. Amsterdam, wealthy and strategically important, became a prime target. These walls were essential. They were the shield that protected the city's people, its commerce, and its future. Look closely, and you'll notice windmills positioned along the ramparts. These were not grinding grain, they were pumping water. Amsterdam sits below sea level, and keeping the city dry was a constant struggle. Through canals, dikes, pumps, and wind-powered machinery, the Dutch reshaped their environment to survive. The famous saying, "God created the world, but the Dutch created the Netherlands," was not exaggeration. As the city expanded, these defenses had to be rebuilt and moved outward again and again. Amsterdam grew in carefully planned rings, defined by concentric canals that still shape the city today. This expansion was deliberate, mathematical, and ambitious, reflecting a city that believed its future had no limits. Moving inward from the gates, we arrive at the old harbor basin, where daily life unfolded in constant motion. In the background, St. Anthony's Gate watches over the water. This harbor was not dominated by massive ocean-going ships, but by smaller vessels that kept the city alive. Barges, fishing boats, and canal ships moved continuously through these waters, delivering food, raw materials, and supplies. Fresh fish arrived from nearby seas, timber from the Baltic region, grain from the Dutch countryside. Amsterdam's strength was not just wealth, but efficiency. Goods were transferred quickly from large ships to smaller boats, then distributed through the city's vast canal network. This was logistics before the modern age, executed with remarkable precision. The city ran like a machine, and every harbor, gate, and canal played its part. Now we reach the main harbor, where Amsterdam truly reveals its global reach. A guardhouse stands watch as ships from across the world anchor nearby. The forest of masts rising into the sky is breathtaking. Each ship represents risk, investment, and potential reward. These vessels carried spices from Southeast Asia, silk from China, furs from the north, sugar from overseas plantations, timber from Scandinavia, and countless other goods. Amsterdam did not rely on producing luxury items itself. Instead, it mastered trade. It became the ultimate middleman, buying, selling, financing, and ensuring goods on a global scale. The guardhouse symbolized authority and control. Ships were inspected, fees collected, and regulations enforced. Trade was encouraged, but never chaotic. Behind much of this activity stood the Dutch East India Company, founded in 1602. It became the world's first true multinational corporation and one of the first companies to issue publicly traded stock. At its peak, it employed tens of thousands of people and operated across continents, shaping global trade for generations. Much of its vast operation flowed directly through this harbor. Further south, along the Amstel, stand two imposing blockhouses, constructed in 1651 to guard the river's approach to the city. These structures served as both military defenses and customs posts, protecting Amsterdam's immense wealth from foreign threats and ensuring that goods entering the city paid their dues. Tensions were rising across Europe, and war with England loomed just a year later. Yet even in uncertain times, trade continued.